of a brigadier who passed away, Brigadier Molloy. And I just find out later that between General Lysia, Van der Merwe, Colonel Leigh, they forged everything.
Okay. So a summary of what you're saying is that the first thing that you picked up and what you had reported or you started investigating on your own was the lack of appointment letters.
Well, yes.
And there were files for these people that existed to be on SAP's payroll.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to 3.2. When you and your husband met with state security agencies, and you said your husband was contacted by a Mr. Mark Makwa. I hope I'm pronouncing.
Mike Makwa. It should be Mike.
It's Mike, not Mark. Okay. How did you know that these were SSA state security agent? Besides them saying that they were, how did you and your husband verify that they were?
Okay.
Try to answer as short as possible, please.
Because my husband met with the former Minister of SSA, Mr. Zizi Kodwa. That was the first meeting. Mr. Zizi Kodwa informed him that as a result of all this corruption that because Mr. Mike Makwa was the one who brought them in contact. And then he said the president instructed him to appoint this team of SSA.
Who said that? The former minister, Zizi?
Yes.
Okay. Were you there in the meeting when your husband met him, the former minister?
They were not there yet. They came afterwards.
Okay, what I'm asking you, were you part of that meeting?
I was not in the meeting, but I was in the car there because Mr. Zizi Kodwa drove to Bloemfontein. They met at the engine garage on the N1. So that is where he said that this is what's going to happen. The president is going to want me to establish a team, and I'm going to send the team, and that is indeed what happened.
And then what happened with this team? What was the outcome of it?
What happened? We gave this team a lot of information. There was 2 memory cards that was given to them with information on it, also relating to the stolen firearms, to the.
I think you gave us that information, but ultimately after you provided them with all the information.
After my phone was, I still have a message that I sent to Mr. Zizi Kodwa. After my phone was confiscated, because now I even gave them that phone that was confiscated to download all the files on that phone. And then that was in September of 2021. And then October 2021, my phone get confiscated. And then after that, they never communicated with us again.
So what was your analysis of the involvement of the then minister Zizi? What were they trying to achieve with you and your husband, trying to get information from you? Have you done an assessment on that? Because it's weird that a minister in state security meets with citizens, gets information, and then just disappear off the face of the earth.
I think they wanted to establish exactly what information that we have relating to the corruption that was happening, because they specifically asked us about certain ministers. Do you have information?
Which ministers did they ask about?
I must just remember. Because they say the president wants to know which minister is
So this is President Ramaphosa wanted to know which ministers.
I will remind you of the name of the ministers. All I told to them, I say, the only minister that I can give you information on is Minister Cele. I do not have information on the ministers that you want information. When we come back, I will just send my husband so he can just remind me of the name of those. They wanted to know about Pule Mabe. I remember that name, Pule Mabe. I will remember the name of the other minister.
And then tell me, Ms. Patricia, why are you making this up? Why didn't your husband make submissions, or did he and we missed it in regards to this? Because it seems that he was leading in terms of the contact with Zizi Kodwa.
He was, as I said, information about corruption in Free State, and currently not just in Free State. I can now safely say, across the country, information of corruption are be sent to us. Because people have built their trust relationship with us. So now, my husband had a very close relationship with General Sithole, the former General of Police, even before he became the Provincial Commissioner of Free State. We also knew that General Sithole was appointed as the Provincial Commissioner of Free State on the recommendations of Ace Magashule. There was these generals in Free State who were very close to Ace Magashule. They called themselves the Premier League. That's where the political interference come in. And as we sit now, even currently with the current premier, there are serious cases against the current premier, but these cases are being covered up. I know the
Let's
EFF.
that,
Okay.
because it's not part of your testimony, and then we're going to do some sightseeing. But whatever information you do have on that, Chair, I'm going to recommend that our legal team gets that information so we can also look at it. You didn't quite answer why your husband didn't make submissions here. Just
He didn't make submissions here because generally he gets the information and I do the research on the information. So that's why I came to make the submissions.
the names of the agents, do you have them? Are they still
Tabiso,
active?
I even still have Tabiso's number.
Okay.
Tabiso, the other one was Justice, and there wasn't. I can remember on this day when they downloaded my phone. Lieutenant Colonel
Okay,
Gerald
let's stick
Smith.
to, so you have
Yes.
their names. So we need
Yes.
to have their names and it's not. Do you know if they still operating in the State Security Agency?
I'm not sure if they are still
But
operating.
we'll need their full names so we can also just follow up on that. Just quickly on, I wanted to ask, you said there was the warrant officer, he became a brigadier, Van der Merwe, and he admitted under cross-examination, this is under 3.4 of your sworn statement, and you submitted an annexure to that effect. So he admitted under that he misled the magistrate. So besides you opening the case, was there any action taken both by the court? Nothing. And then we need, I think you've included the case number here. So this is also something for us to follow up on the outcome of that case, or if it is still open or active and who was responsible for that.
I just also want to correct the record. He was not a warrant officer at the time. He was a colonel van der Merwe. And relating to the SSA agents, I did report it to the Office of the Inspector General of Intelligence. There was an investigation. I've never received the outcome of that report.
Okay.
Because the lady who investigated Mrs. Norma Buthelezi was suspended before she could.
So she was in the IG's office who was investigating that. So that's also something that we, Chair and the legal team, would need to follow up if it has been submitted. Is that also part of your annexures? Well,
Yes.
the complaint that you said?
Yes, it's part of my
because
admission.
you can see how we didn't get clear the annexures done properly. On 3.8 of your sworn statement, you said Parliament requested a threat assessment from SAPS for you. How did Parliament get involved in doing that?
Because I reported, as I said, I went everywhere up to the portfolio committee on the previous portfolio committee on police. There's how the chairperson, there's how they got involved and they requested this threat assessment.
Okay, and then the warrant officer, Marstorp, who did from county intelligence member who did the assessment, do you know if he's still in SAPS?
He's still in SAPS, he's still in SAPS, and I did send the threat assessment also.
And you have a copy of the assessment in your, or you didn't get a copy of it?
I sent it to Bonani yesterday.
Okay. And then after the assessment was done, what happened?
SAPS refused to accept the assessment to such a point that his commander instructed him to change the contents of the assessment. When he refused to do that, he was charged departmentally, and he was also acquitted on those charges.
So hence he's still there as well. Okay, so Chair, I'm going to suggest to the committee, we have a wealth of information here of cases that have been submitted to various criminal justice entities. And also, Ms. British, you've also stated that you've opened a lot of cases. So we'd like to just have, I know you've given us bundles and bundles of evidence. So maybe we can just get a list of all the cases that you have opened in your personal capacity, the case number and what it was regarding. And then we as Parliament, we can write whether it's to SAPS, to the NPA, to IPED, to the AG, and not just ask, Chair, for the status of the cases, but we must have an activity report on from the moment the case was opened, who it was assigned to, what was the activity. We want the names of the people that were involved. If the case was just lying there, why was it lying there for such a long time? And I think that is going to help us move, because we can't just continuously have cases opened or not. Thank you, Sis Patricia. Mr. Dotieni, I hope I'm pronouncing your surname correctly. You did your training, training and development in our criminal justice, not criminal justice, but it's a crime intelligence. So before we get into all the details of what you exposed in here, did you think the training was, the quality of training that you received as an officer in the criminal crime intelligence department, was it sound, and is it something we can be proud of as South Africans, the training in particular?
The first 6 months is basic training to become a police officer. And I must commend a lot of the guys on the ground that actually train young people. I was 19.
You're talking very soft. You were very animated before. Now when we're asking you about maybe the good story they used to tell about training and development, you're getting quiet.
I was quite impressed with, with the officers that delivered the training, because as I was saying, I was 19 years old at the time. I mean, I had to.
You were 19?
19 years old. I had to train a variety of weapons. I mean, you're quite skilled. I mean, I went as far as.
Okay, you're telling us too much information. Okay. So you're saying it was very high quality.
It was very good, including the induction by crime intelligence officials. I think they did an excellent job.
So technically, we shouldn't really be in the state that we are in as a country with the level of training and development that our crime intelligence officers get, if there was no corruption and all the other things that come into it.
Well, yes, because the forces on the ground are quite equipped. But if you have a situation where you've got 2 generals from the same organization,
okay, you're doing sightseeing now. So. Okay, I just wanted to understand if we were lacking in that regard, and we're not. It was very interesting on how you characterized the disbandment when the minister issued the disbandment letter. And I don't know if any of the other members of the committee saw it in that way, that the rippling effect that it had, and how, number one, the threats to the lives of the officers that might have been involved or had infiltrated this criminal or the syndicate or cabal or whatever it is that we want to call it. I found that very insightful. What I do want to ask, in your opinion, do you think that, and you might be a bit nervous to say it, but I'm going to try my luck anyway. Do you think Minister Senzo did it intentionally? Or do you think it was just a horrific oversight for him not to consult to understand the rippling effect? And if he did it intentionally, it means that there might have been some collusion with CAT, just thinking that, okay, my network here is being infiltrated, and the way we are going to be able to root out those who have infiltrated it is by, issuing this disbandment letter for immediate disbandment.
Honorable Member, I look at data. I don't personally have enough data to make that conclusion. Okay. If I had the data, I would bravely say so.
What data do you need to be able to make an analysis on that?
So I think what's important is to go through thoroughly an interrogation with the minister to understand what influenced him. And I think the interactions that he had give some perspective as to what may have influenced him. But I think if you have a more detailed sort of engagement with the minister.
Oh, but we did. We were here for 2 days.
Yeah.
What questions you think we should have asked him that we didn't?
I'm saying this, Honorable Chairperson, as a former member of crime intelligence. And I'm saying this because I have witnessed people who have a variety of skills in actually interrogating and cross-examining people and understanding usually can come with more informed decisions and more informed opinions.
So in summary, I'm going to cut you off. You know, we've got a
Yes,
chair. He'll just cut us off as we even breathe in. He'll even tell us to stop breathing. So you're saying that as members of parliament, we're not fully equipped because we don't have the training that you received in crime intelligence. I got the story. No, it's fine. I understand. Let's move on to, you raised the issue of system access and the decline of that or the blockage of that, how it affected cases. And pretty much because of the issue of privacy, but also the abuse of it. How do you recommend, how do we find a balance to be able to root out criminality and being able to have access? It makes perfect sense that if we see, I like the example that you gave, we see a car, we must be able to pull, and our investigations are taking way too long. I mean, some of it is intentional and some it's just, it's that whole thing of access. We have to get court orders, a whole lot of things. But how do we strike a balance? Because it does open up to abuse. And we also just have corrupt officials in all our entities. So as short as possible.
Okay. I have to make this example though. We don't take away firearms from police officers because a few of them, or even a significant number of them, suddenly discharge them irresponsibly. We deal with those individuals. We don't incapacitate the ability to actually fight against crime. So that is my honest opinion. I think that you should not, just because some people or there has been a trend to actually abuse the system, you take it away. No, you deal with that problem, but you ensure that resources actually remain at the ground level.
Do you think it was a deliberate, the decapacitating, as you refer to it, of accessing the systems? You think it was deliberate?
Yes, because systems give you insight into persons of interest.
Because once you say it's deliberate, you're saying that our government has no interest in solving crime. Its interest is pretty much to let crime and corruption spiral out of control.
I would not lay it at the square, at the feet of government. I have given a name. I'm saying the instigator during that time was a divisional commissioner by the name of General Mdluli.
But he can't do it himself. That's another thing too.
Well,
it's not something that could be done, and he's no longer there, and the process has continued. So at some point, I guess that's something as a committee we can look into and see how, in terms of recommendations, because it's not that we are short of even information in this country. It's very easy to be able to access that. I appreciate that. I want to just, I've got two more themes to deal with. The Itwala operation. What was the outcome of that?
In 2012, I mean, in 2011, I gave another scenario where a separate group of people had now gone in and started to operate. We could only arrest the one guy. We did not know who he was with. We did not know where they were taking the girls. We only intervened in, they had come for about 6 or 7 girls.
Oh, okay.
And we only intervened in the one incident, in the one girl, but they take them at the same time. So
did you recover any girls, any of the girls that were moved? So
in 2009 we did. 2011 we just recovered the one girl. 2009 we recovered 6 girls. In 2011 we only recovered one girl, and they operated as a group. They didn't operate as just going to take one.
So why do you think, was the operation shut down, or you just don't have any more information about it?
At this stage I don't have. But
so who's implicated in that, in terms of within the criminal justice system, that would have halted or, I don't know, made this operation not continue? Or who's involved that we are still having our girls been taken into rape houses. We shouldn't even call them sex houses, it's rape houses. Sex is consensual.
The point was made to reference or to give significance to the point of the impact of removing system access from ground forces. I cannot I'm not going to say people implicated. As I said, at the time, the individuals that were implicated in the majority were about Nigerians, Somalians, and cannot remember the third nationality. And then obviously a few South Africans. So it was a mixture of.
You don't know the South African names. Okay, but so your submission here to the committee is that it's not so much that there was involvement of SAPS officials, of politicians in this. The operation failed because of this system's access.
Exactly. And I'm saying that that's the ripple effect of a decision that's taken by divisional commissioner at the time without thinking about the implications.
And it's still continuing now. So it might have even been outside of his control as well. What was your relationship beyond work with General Mathys?
No, I mean, he was a good colleague. One thing about the General Mathys is that
Not one thing about him, what was your relationship?
he made it his business to be informed about each and every one of his members.
What was your relationship?
He was a
outside
colleague,
of
a
work?
very good colleague. And I can call him a friend, yes.
So did you have any activities, etc., with him outside of work?
Not really, no. Not
Boys
really.
trips, all those?
Come again?
You didn't do boys trips and all that with him, okay. How were you promoted from a constable in Willowmore to an analyst position in the province?
So I was moved before I was promoted. So from Willowmore, I received a direct transfer to the provincial office. And then after training and development of a period of 3 years, I then applied for a position and then I was appointed.
So when you moved to the analyst position on the provincial level, was that post advertised externally?
A transfer does not need advertisement, ma'am.
So they created the position, or the position was open, they just.
Yes. So as a constable from Willowmore, I was simply transferred to the provincial office.
Okay, and then who is Colonel Gunden? These are questions I got from the public. So I might not, that doesn't mean you can't be honest.
Okay. No, Colonel Gounden was a colonel within information management. And yeah, it's also a very good colleague, you know. He's left now, he's out of the police.
Why did he leave?
His own personal choice, his own frustrations. Everyone makes their own personal choice.
And Colonel Muller?
Mula.
Muller, M-U-L-L-E, Muller. M-U-L-L-E-R, you don't know? So all these are just good colleagues. There's been no anything outside of work with them. Well, you're saying you don't know Colonel Muller, so that's fine.
I don't know.
And then why did you leave crime intelligence in East London to go to PE?
In East London to go to PE.
Mm.
I never
Was
left
that
crime
the-
intelligence.
Oh, you didn't?
I never left.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'm done.
Yes. I was looking at you, I can see that you learn from the African National Congress.
Are you opening up doors now, Chair?
The child must learn from the parent.
You are opening up doors now for engagement you don't want.
Honorable Sokanyile stopped 2 minutes before, and you are 5 minutes before. Thank you so much. Honorable Sangol.
The EFF leads.